Judges, start your timers. Oh, wow. Okay. Hello. Hello, DrupalCamp. I'm so happy to be here. It's, like everyone, it's been a crazy few years. I have not been at a conference since January 2020. I have not been to the barber since February 2020. And yeah, this is going to be fun. I haven't done this in a long time, and I'm pretty excited to share what I've been up to since I don't do Drupal full time anymore. I know. So this presentation is explaining some of what we do at Open Strategy Partners. And so I called it Your Agency House, a communications playbook to grow your agency product or service business. And that's probably a weakness of the title because it's definitely not just for agencies. But essentially, you know, if we're producing something online, how can we communicate to help ourselves do better as a business and to help people understand how much we could help them? That's kind of the idea of the talk. And as much as I like to hand wave and do this kind of thing, I want to show you that it's quite practical and quite clear, and give you steps that you can take to do this for yourself. So you have an agency, you have a product company, you have something that you care about, and you want more people to use it. We're going to talk about content strategies, essentially, to help promote that better. Open Strategy Partners. I co-founded Open Strategy Partners in 2017 now. We're incorporated in Germany. There are essentially 5 things that we do. I could call us depending on who I'm pitching to, I call us a sales enablement and product marketing enablement company. Sometimes I say we're a strategic communications company. All of that is true. We have 5 things that we do. We work with our clients to establish their strategy, either in terms of, well, essentially the strategy in terms of how communication and the business strategies come together. Sometimes we help develop them. Sometimes we need to get on the page and understand how we can support them, but we have a whole strategic practice and some of our own tools to do that. Then we plan content and campaigns. So that's much more like marketing with clients. And then we produce a great deal of content, and that's why I call us a communications company. So we have a highly developed, modular, structured writing and editing process that I'm very proud of. We are beginning to be able to measure the effects of doing content right, and that's really cool. And that's one of the things we're working on the hardest right now internally. And the 5th thing that we do, we come from open source. I come from Drupal. Enablement is really, really important. So we share our knowledge and we enable others to do it. We give workshops. I've got templates to give away. We've got a bunch of documentation about our writing and editing. For example, we've got 60 or 70 writing codes to help you write better content and be a better editor, and all of that stuff we're sharing with the world because I want to help more people than I could ever have as clients. So typical open source story that all of you definitely understand. We're at open_strategy on Twitter. Tracy Evans is my co-founder and co-creator of this presentation. She is a business major and has an MBA and managed international teams and all of that kind of stuff. So she has an actual formal education and is very highly structured and is a bunch of things that I am not. But we came together at, when I left Acquia, I had several thousand conversations with developers and with agency owners and with marketers. And I had some pretty clear ideas about how I thought communication should come together, how marketing should come together. And so essentially she helped create a structure for my peculiar skills to flourish. And then over time, essentially, so the communication practice kind of came from me originally, and the strategic practice is definitely her brainchild. So that's how we came together. This is most of our current team. We're spread from Melbourne through to Canada and California. And this number varies at times and depending on some projects and you know how good a year it is. But we do audio and video production on the side, as well as writing. And the writing varies from sort of fun, engaging stuff right through to some more technical documentation occasionally, although that's not my preferred thing to do. Today, I want to tell you how you can make your website your best sales tool. I want to tell you the Are You My Agency story. I want to show you how you can help yourself sell better and help your prospects buy better from you. We'll talk about building that agency house. Talk about some of the ideas that we put into making that content at OSP. And then I'll sum up what we've seen today, all in the next 35 minutes. So our goals when we have a website, when we have a business, when we have a product that we care about, even if it's an open source project that we're not taking money for, we want people to help us with that, contribute, adopt it, and so on. So I think a lot of this communication is also relevant for that sort of a situation. But essentially, all of us should have websites in this room. And I want to help you improve the sales flow, make it easier to get in touch with people and make it easier to have a conversation with them, increase the awareness of your brand, improve your position in search results, and connect with the people you want to connect with. Those are our goals for the presentation, and hopefully you'll be convinced by the end that I've told you that. So then I took the train yesterday from Germany, which was really fun. And I was looking at this super dull businessy title that I gave the presentation. And I thought, then I thought of a book that I read in my childhood. It's called Are You My Mother? And there's this little chick that hatches. And I remember my grandmother reading me this book. There's a little chick that hatches, and it fell out of the tree when its mummy was gone. And it goes around asking, are you my mother? Are you my mother? And there's some more scenes in there, but it asks all these different animals, are you my mother? No, well, you can't be. No, you can't be. And I felt like, hey, when I'm looking for an agency, right? It's kind of like, can you do my website? Can you help my business? Are you a good partner for me? I had this feeling that this book was somehow relevant. So in the Are You My Mother story, it then asks this steam shovel, and the surprising, wonderful outcome of the story is that the shovel puts the chick back into the nest, and it's very nice. So then we have a lovely business partnership. Now, if I were writing the book for open strategy partners and this talk, it would be, are you my agency? Are you my agency? And people who want to work with you, they want to know, what is it that you do? And do I even need that, right? What sort of experience do you have? How do you work, and what do you like to work with? And most of all the business interactions that I see when I'm selling a product or a service, no executive wants to be the first to do a thing. No one wants to be your experiment. So who else have you helped? It's a really, really important question. So how many of you deal with people who are looking to hire an agency or to buy your product or something like that? How many of you are in that sort of a job? Right. And do these questions look reasonably right for the sort of things that people want to know? Okay. Good. That's good, because otherwise, I mean, the presentation would be very quick at this point. So I think that we need to tell this story to answer these questions. And I'm sorry I'm reading some of the slides, but we build and sell services as a team of experts sharing our knowledge. We are qualified and experienced in using a set of tools and processes with a proven track record of success. So you should already be able to see proven track record. It should answer this question: whom have you helped transform it, succeed? What are your qualifications and expertise? Well, we claim that we're experts, right? So I believe this story covers an awful lot of these discovery bases. Now, unfortunately, that's as far as I got with the Are You My Mother metaphor, but I'm hoping to revisit that as this presentation develops. The first thing that you need to do is you need to help yourself sell better. You need to help yourself tell that story better. And apart from having a consistent pitch and understanding what it is that you're doing. You need to make every bit of communication that you can put on your website that answers those questions in that story is going to help you do that more consistently. And as those things appear on your website, other people are going to be able to find them, and then you don't even have to work to tell them that story, right? So if you think about the email that you have to write every time, if you think about the questions that people ask you all the time, you can start to think, hey, what if I wrote a blog post about that? What if I wrote an FAQ about that? So whatever it is that you find yourself saying all the time, you should write it down and you should put it on your website. And then in the next sales call or the next time somebody's asking about your project, you can say, hey, there's a PDF about that. There's a web page about that. Here, read this link, and then we can talk some more. You should also think about, why do people come to you, and are they coming to you for the right reasons, right? If you want to sell a particular kind of a solution and they're asking you some different questions, it might be that the story that you're telling online is not the right one. So you need to think about that sort of alignment. And the search robots and executives of the world really, really care about headless and about, what are this year's buzzwords, by the way, apart from decoupled and headless and remote and virtual? I don't know. People who have the budget tend to think about these things. So little SEO trick, figure out how you can put those words genuinely into your website. So help yourself. All the stuff that people ask you about, write something about it, put it out there where people can find it. Then over time, you can help your prospects self-qualify, right? You can help your prospects convince themselves that they want what you've got and they need your help to get it. And we work to make this happen. It's funny because I think our website at my company might be the least convincing right now because we've been lucky that we've had a lot of work to do. But every time someone asks something, every time you win a deal, every time you lose a deal, you should keep track of why that is. And then these are sort of a mirror image of the questions I was saying before. But when people come to you, are they asking for Drupal? Are they asking for the things that you offer? You have to start putting these things out. So initially I thought, hey, I'm going to write this thing so that I don't have to have that conversation for the 1,000th time. But then I realized that people were, as I said, convincing themselves. So we've done this with several clients and over the last couple of years, and they report that this simple answering people's questions ahead of time makes a huge advantage, makes a huge difference, right? So something else that we think about at OSP is called trust signals, right? So you need to show people everything they need to be able to believe in you. We invented a thing called a trust signal audit when we were comparing open source projects with each other for a client, and it's a wonderful thing that we do. So, and I'm happy to share it with you. A trust signal audit in the open source project context is a series of questions. What's your license? Do you have regular releases? Are the release notes good? Do you have a code of conduct? How many stars do you have on GitHub? And so on and so on and so on and so on. And by looking at this catalog of issues around your project, first, you can identify the ones that you can influence and the one that you have less influence over, and then anything where you haven't got a code of conduct, well, you really should write one in 2022. If you don't make a really regular practice of writing good release notes, that's something you can do, and then you can increase your adoption. And by the same token, we think that there are trust signals that people look at for businesses, and we want to grow and succeed. So here's the roof of our house. The roof of our house is our business and our growth and success, and we want to get bigger and taller and everything, but obviously that's very unstable, just floating in the middle of the air like that. So the first question that people want to know is, what do you sell? So you need It's very hard to sell a conversation. It's very hard to say, hey, we do Drupal, it's open source, it can do everything, just tell me what you want and I'll build you one. It's a very hard conversation to have. It's a very difficult thing to give a timeline and a price point on. People, especially these business people that I've been talking about with the budget to spend, they might not understand technology as well, and they want to see a package. They want to see that if I spend X, I'm going to get Y. They also want to see that other people have gotten it and so on. We'll get to that. But they want to see, they'd love to see like in 3 months, we will revamp your something and give you this. So you have to have a clear idea of what your offerings are and package them into, even if you're doing site building and custom work along the way, it should look like a package. Our very first agency client, they didn't know how to sell themselves. They'd also just been plagued by success and had nothing like this on their website. So we quizzed them for a few days and we found out that there were 4 or 5 kinds of projects that they loved to build. So we invented product offerings for their company that were just, oh, we like to build hospital websites and we like to build university websites and we like to build whatever. And it doesn't matter that behind the scenes there's nothing except their standard distro for in-house, right? But as a university administrator, I could see blah, 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 and did this for University of such and so, and it is these pieces, and that's really helpful. And you need to keep in mind who your targets are and what they need as clients to write the descriptions so that you can show how I'm going to benefit. It's not, we're going to put in CK editor and this and Drupal 9. It is the effect and the transformation that they're going to go through that they really care about. So ingredient 1, you need product/service pages that really look like packages. The second thing that people are quite interested in is, how do you build this thing, right? And all of us in open source land are super proud that we use Drupal, that we use Typo3, that we use Sulu, that we use whatever it is that we use. And there are clients who care about that, and there are clients who are going to come to you because it's Drupal. I think less than in the past, but that's still real. So they want to know that you use Drupal, but if you're also specialized in Magento, if you're also specialized in performance, if you're also specialized in integrations with whatever, people want to know that, and that'll help you build credibility when somebody is searching for whatever that component of the system is. They might not care about Drupal at all, but they might come to you because you're really, really good at integrating digital asset management or something. So the second thing you need to have is these tool and process pages. We have kind of not perfectly templated, but we have structures about how we construct these so that people want to know what the tool is, what it does, and what they can get out of it in your, if you work for them. And I'm going to dig into that. There's another aspect of that coming along in the very next pillar of this thing. So then we really think that you should blog, run a podcast, be a guest on other people's podcasts, write documentation, whatever it is. And so you should be blogging about these tools. You should be blogging about Drupal or Magento or digital asset management or whatever, because this is what you sell, this is what you build it with, and this also talking about the event you went to and the contributions you made and how you improved the whatever module, right? This proves that you know this stuff, which means there must be something to these products that you're building, right? So you need to talk about what you do, and you need to talk about your expertise in public. And Google and the others really, really care about relevance and authority. So good content nowadays, even down to the paragraph level, that has smart things to say, they notice that and they'll rank you better in that specialty subject. And our more technical colleagues will recognize, you know, if we're active in our projects, if we're contributing, if we're using things in a smart way, people are going to notice. They like that. The next thing that we find really, really helps increase the success of this model is having team profiles for well, as many people in the company as you can. And the team profile is an interesting thing. And the first time we did it, we thought, hey, it's fun, and this is a fun company of people that we like, and we like each other, and this will be a nice exercise. And we have a really wonderful workshop that we do. What we've discovered with the search engines, so the ability for people to come and find you, for the search engines, well, there's two things, right? The person who's spending the money wants to have some idea maybe of who they're going to work with. And they might want to know where you are. Maybe it's important to them that they're here in Wrocław, or that they're in a German-speaking country, or whatever it is. So that sort of personal stuff is fun and important. What we've done now with our ideal team profiles is we've got a nice photo of someone. We say where they live. We say what their hobbies are. Whatever the company inside jokes are, we try and work those in, and hobbies and whatever. But we also say, hey, my favorite thing about our technology, right? My favorite thing about Drupal is this. My favorite thing about our agency is this. Like, my favorite success story from the company is that. And then we'll have a list as well, like, favorite food, and I can't live without, and all these reasonably interesting things for the profiles. But we make sure that the UX designer has Adobe XD in there, and has a design certificate, and whatever else the designer has. And like, the backend designer is going to have a certification as for a couple of systems, and so on and so forth. So within the human interesting stuff in the team profile, there is proof that they know about this, right? So these blogs, whether we write them for you in the back end, whether they write them themselves, whether it's a team blog, if it's about UX, then the author profile on the blog is going to link to the UX designer's thing. The blurb is going to be about her. It'll have her photo on it, and it shows that you build products with good UX using Adobe XD, or doesn't matter, whatever it is. Here are 3 articles about it showing that you think about UX at your company, and here's the person that has that expertise. And that's awesome. And it goes for all the development skills you can think of, design, project management even. It's a fantastic indicator of a healthy company. And you start, if you get your project managers to write something about Agile, or like the successes of the team, this can build up very quickly, and this all sustains itself very, very nicely. And we discovered something even more interesting. I thought that was quite a success, but we discovered almost by accident. We have a client in Stuttgart whom we love. I'm going to show you a little bit of their website in a minute. This agency in Stuttgart is the premier Typo 3 CMS agency, and it's called B13, and they're a great agency, a great bunch of people. They do great work for great clients. Why shouldn't you, if you want a Typo 3 project, why not work with them? They were not ranking for any searches of Typo 3 in their city or their region. There were other agencies that quote unquote nobody'd ever heard of ranking, but this premier agency, which is really well known and has really, important people in their community, it wasn't ranking at all. So in the team profiles, we went back in and we talked with the team some more. And on one guy's profile, we put youth group leader, such and so church in Stuttgart. And another one we put, I love to hang out with my friends in the parks in Stuttgart, on the blah, 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 blah. And just like a couple of other bits and pieces. So Google notices that they're in Stuttgart now, and they rank much, much better than they ever did before. So we've turned these team profiles into a really interesting tweaking mechanism. What technologies we mention, how they link to the blogs, how they talk about their lives, turns out to be quite important and quite interesting. And it was a fascinating discovery for us. So it's a tool that I really, really love, because it humanizes your company, and it does some really interesting things in terms of SEO. And then the building would fall down without the foundation of, have you done this before? Are you successful? Is it good? You need to write, and I know it sucks, But when that project is over, you need to write a case study with your client. You need to say, hey, what was great about it? What are the results? Go back 6 months later, find out how it's working. Get them to say how great you are to work with, right? Because that proves that these people are doing a good job. And then they tell the business stories about, we got a such and so solution and it works great and we've doubled our whatever we needed to double. And all of this comes full circle. It's fantastic. So you have to write in very concrete, compact ways about what you build and what clients can get out of it, how you build them, your tools and processes. You need to write about your expertise that proves you know how to use that. And then you need to show that your team has certification, expertise, loves their tooling, uses the right sort of stuff. And then you need the people who benefit from it to be willing to say that in perfect. And it becomes self-sustaining and helps you. It really, really, really helps. So, we're doing okay for time. So in the last 10 minutes, I want to give you a couple of examples of how we, OSP, think about doing the content that goes into all those slots that I told you about. I want to talk only about three things. Our concept of a value case, our concept of a content brief, and then just a little bit about case studies. We have a whole writing and editorial system. We have a whole strategic practice. There's so much more to talk about. And if anybody's interested, I really like talking about it. We really like talking about it. I'd be super interested in carrying on the conversation. I'm also very, very happy to hook you up with some of the templates we use and some of the thinking we use, either in just like a mini informal seminar or, you know, whatever. We're working on sharing what we do, and I'm very, very happy to share it under some sort of a, you know, Creative Commons attribution thing where my logo stays on it. So we have clients, just FYI, we have clients in the Drupal space, in the Typo 3 space, in the Sulu CMS space. If nobody's familiar with Sulu, it's a Symfony-based CMS that is super interesting and for developers, really, really interesting. We also work with hosters. We've worked with education companies. We've done a lot of different things in the tech space. This is an example, mostly real, from the Typo 3, from some work we did a while ago with Typo 3. So Typo 3's DAM integrations make it easy for content authors to discover, access, and reuse media-rich content. Enterprise organizations invest in thousands of assets, but they go to waste without DAM capabilities integrated into your publishing workflow. Integrate Typo 3 with a DAM system, classify, store, and maintain, blah, 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 stuff, with stuff and more good stuff. This is formulated as a value case. And this is formulated as a value case for a leadership persona who's responsible for the successful of the business and the technology side, and has something in, you know, is also responsible for marketing results and leads. So when you're thinking about who's going to read it, you need to think about the budget owner. If a developer should be reading your blog because you want them to get excited and ask their bosses to use your technology, you're talking about technology pieces, but you should tell the value that they deliver, because if they can say, if we integrate this widget with this whatever, we're going to be able to reduce risk, increase efficiency, whatever it is. So developer stories need to talk about the value that they can deliver, because the value they deliver is what the person with the budget cares about. And if you tell stories about the business case, you need to make sure that your technology can deliver that value that you're promising. We have an entire methodology around this, but any given feature that you develop, you should be able to say, how does it deliver? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And the ultimate why should be comprehensible to a business person. And any benefit at the business level, you should say, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? Until you have a technical fact behind it, right? So tell the stories, whoever you're telling the story to, tell them in terms that your persona is going to be interested. Now, those three sentences are very highly structured, a little long, but it happens. Benefit statement, challenge statement, solution statement, and that's no accident. That's how we write these things. This is a variation you might recognize if you know case studies. But we say the benefit first, because if that budget owner is reading this, they're going to be like, oh, I can do that. That's cool. We put the challenge next because whoever's in that situation will say, ooh, yes, I have that problem, right? And then you deliver the solution. And this is how we deal with it with our methodology, with our technology, whatever it is. So this is a very calculated way to write these things. So what's in it for me? We give you this. We help you with that. We enable you to do whatever. Clear benefit. A challenge. Oh my God, this thing, I am losing so much sleep. How can I, whatever it is, I need to find somebody. This is costing me. That's that thing. And it's not a negative thing. They need to identify themselves in that. They need to see that they have a similar problem, that they've been there before, right? Because then they'll recognize that you're thinking about them and not just we deliver widgets based on widgetology, right? You care about the reader when you show that you understand their challenge. And then now we solve this way, and you'll get all this thing and get so much more sleep at night because we solve it for you. So we use this in practice all the time. What did I say? Benefit. So we build these things, that's kind of a neutral statement, flexible hubs that connect and integrate with existing systems with efficiency and ease of use in mind. So they're flexible. I can use my legacy stuff, and it looks like they're promising me that it's going to be easy to use. Big benefit for the person who wants to buy a centralized information management platform. Ooh, out of the box, one-size-fits-all software. They have a lot of features, but maybe they're not fast enough, maybe they're not efficient enough, maybe you can't do what you need to do. You might be buying more limitations than benefits in the end. This is showing that there are better and worse ways to do something, and that people might have fallen down on some of the off-the-shelf offerings compared to this more customized agency offering that we're promoting. And here, the solution. Our secure, efficient, easy to use information management hubs are tailored to your needs and ready to handle all your requirements in the future. So, value case, the benefit challenge solution. Jumping ahead. Benefit, fast websites convert better. Challenges, how can you scale when you succeed? We solve it this way. Benefit challenge solution. This is an interesting one because it's a lot more compact and less obviously formulated, but this, so multilingual, consistent branding, great. Multilingual is hard, but we help you make it easier for the people who build the stuff, and we give it to you this, and we give it to you that. So it's a very short benefit, an even shorter challenge, and then a lot of solution, but it's the same formulation. So when we write a piece of content, we never start with a blank page. I might know who the author on the front is going to be. The message that I want to project about so the thesis is what the content is about. It needs like the thing that we're going to say out loud is the thesis, and I saw this and I'm going to solve it for you this way, and you get that kind of idea. The brand message is what I want to project about my company or my organization at any given time, who my target audience is, what their challenges are, if I've got SEO already in place, and am I trying to convert them? Do I have a call to action or call to value? We do this in the planning meetings with our clients. And if you just write this down, honestly, I do this to send emails to my dad, okay? My target audience is my dad, and he's still pissed off at me from when I was 16. And so I really have to make sure that if I want him to come to Christmas, you know? So we write that, we create an outline. We also have a nice formula for doing the metadata and the social information. We give all of our teams a lot of documentation because it's just much easier for everybody to work better, and it's more fun. So here's an example. 5 tips for writing a stellar case study. Is it going to be my line? Is it going to be Christine's? Look, and the thesis is, here are 5 clear tips for building a great case study. And the brand message, like that we're not saying out loud, is, hey, OSP has expertise in writing for tech companies and special expertise in case studies. Our targets are these, had our keywords, audience pain points, you know, monetization. Ask me to write it for you. We really like it, and it's a pain for most people, and so on. And then this is when all of that's in place. It's an outline. And with all of that in hand, you know, then anyone on my team, and I don't even remember who did this, would write the first draft. Another of us would edit it, we check, and then we publish this. So we do this for all of our client work as well. We do this for ourselves. This is something that can really help you never have writer's block or face a blank page. Same goes for case study, but the preparation work is a lot more involved, and you have to do interviews and so on, but it's still a structured process. I cannot recommend enough using structure for everything. We really enjoy doing case studies. Here's some blogs we've done. So let me wrap up. I'm almost on time. That's amazing. I haven't done this in a very long time. So I told you some outcomes at the beginning. I've talked about creating assets, and I showed you the questions that people ask. Now, as we were preparing this, my business partner Tracy said, hey, so just write, just make a diagram that goes from the question to the asset that you create and the outcome that that produces. Piece of cake, as we say. So this came out, and I want to say it's true, because what are your qualifications and expertise? Well, we have the team profiles and the blogs and podcasts and presentations that prove that. And who else have you helped? Obviously, case studies, client successes, right? Do you have experience, team profiles, and so on? It all makes sense. And then having these things, I hope you recognize them roughly from the house, then having product pages improves sales flow, having blogs improves awareness, and so on. It's true, but this is, anyway. So this presentation is a work in progress. Instead, although I think it's fun, this is the story we wanted to tell about ourselves. We sell services, we're experts. We share what we know. We're experts in tools and processes. We have a proven track record of success. So as I said, this is fully supported now. We have a clear offering. We show our homework and how we build it. We prove that we're experts in that by writing about it here. We prove even more by showing our certifications, by having our authors linked to their expert topics, by showing their certifications. Our clients back us up and give us a foundation to this whole building, and the whole thing works. So then there's a third way to present it. I'm supposed to do this at Prague. I got selected, which is awesome. We can also say, here's the story, product, service pages, blogs, etc. So I don't know which one works best. Does anybody have strong feelings? This. But this, it's a good way to sum it up, right? Because I already showed you that. Okay, cool. Noted. Now, we talked about making your website your best sales tool, and we talked about the "Are you my agency?" story, the question of the questions that people come to you with, about helping yourself, about building your house, a little bit about my brain on content, and then sort of the summary of the things we've been talking about. With 2 minutes to go, thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting up with my first presentation in a very long time. And questions, get in touch, ask me about templates or workshops, whatever it is. Thank you so much. Any questions now? I'm also open for questions over beers tonight.
Jeffrey.
Yes.
There was kind of a TED talk by Simon Sinek.
Yes.
Who was talking about the golden circles, and he always read it that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do.
Right.
How can you actually put this like the question why? Where do you answer on this?
Simon Sinek is has been a feature of my thinking for many years. A lot of my old presentations have that golden circle in them. It's really important when you get into intrinsically motivated things like contributing to open source and so on, right? It's really, the why is really, really important. I believe in this case, if you put your content together this way, people can see that you care and see that you're a bunch of humans who care about each other. And I think people generally want to work with people who act like people. I know that sounds dumb, but I think that if you write these things showing how someone can benefit from them, right? We will help you optimize your processes. We will help you double your sales. We will help you realize your goals. That sort of a statement is actually the why, right? And identifying with the challenges that they have, showing real empathy, right? We say, we can solve your problems, and we recognize you, we see you, we understand you. I think that that's similar to a why. I think that helps people. All right, then we'll save the rest for beers.